So, hello and welcome everybody to this week's session for embodying the archetypes. So welcome to the people who are here and welcome to the people who are listening to the recording. Oh, Joanna, great, thank you. If you can let her in, oh, and Annabelle as well. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at boundaries. We're going to be looking at the warrior archetype and very particularly saying the no pose for any of you that are familiar with the Embodied Tool Kit. Hello, Joanna, and hello, Annabelle. Good. Welcome, Joanna. Is this your first time to one of our sessions? I think
I've been one of your sessions in 2020.
Oh, right. Oh, great. Well,
welcome back.
Then after the embodiment conference.
Oh, right. Okay, great. Well, welcome back. Lovely to see you. And welcome back to Annabelle as well. So I was just saying that we're going to be looking at boundaries today. And this is a real favorite topic of mine. That ability to be able to say a really full-bodied no to something that then, which kind of really feels like the warrior, that warrior archetype, but then actually gives you that opportunity to say a really full-bodied yes, which for me is really about the lover archetype as well. So I love this dance between these two archetypes. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. So before we get into that, let's just take a moment to come together in the room. So let's just take 3 breaths together. And I'm going to lift my arm and lower my arm for the in-breath and the out-breath. So if you want to take a moment to feel your bum on the seat and your feet on the floor, if you can do that. And then all together, wherever we are in the world, we're going to take a breath in together. And a breath out. And breath in. And a breath out. And a final breath in. And breath out. Great. And to take a moment, if you would like to check in with your body, to see how you feel, to take a moment to notice what's going on. And I invite you to write in the chat up to 3 words that describe how you're feeling today. What's going on in your body at this moment. So I'm definitely feeling very excited. I've got a really fantastic day ahead of me today. I was sharing with Thea. So I'm feeling very bubbly, like champagne. That's how I'm feeling. Great. So we've got optimistic. Great. Grounded. I also just noticed while we were doing the breathing thing, I was doing, what do they call it? Forced togetherness, where I say we're going to do that. So that's just a little notice on my part that I want to watch that. So yeah, soft and happy, tired but excited, deeply relaxed, tired, optimistic, tired but curious and excited. Great, calm, curious and tired. Very good. Okay, great. So we've got quite a range of feelings and ways of being today. So again, always check in with yourself. So this is all part of our guidelines. You know, take care of yourself. You are sovereign of your own body. So please check in and make sure that when I invite you to do any of these things that we're going to do today, that you feel happy to do that. And that obviously this space is confidential. So please kind of keep what we share here today confidential, but also please remember that we're being recorded. So the chat will be confidential. So I'm going to read what people write. I can read that out, but I won't be mentioning names, so it'll be anonymous. Okay, and also that this is a space for witnessing what people share. It's not a place for giving advice or anything like that. Okay, so let's get stuck into what we're going to be looking at today, exploring this full-bodied no, at least to begin with. So for those of you that are familiar with the Embodied Tool Kit, we're going to be looking at the no pose. And for those of you that aren't, don't worry about it. I'm going to take you through all of that. So we're going to kind of do a before, and we're going to do an after. And in between, we're going to kind of just break down the pose a little bit and look at how you can perhaps feel more embodied in that no by breaking it down and then bringing it all back together again. That's the plan. Okay, so if you would like to stand, I invite you to stand.
David, I just wondered, would you like me to be witnessing and offering somatic feedback if it's needed anywhere?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Great, fantastic, great. Is everybody happy with that? Receiving some feedback from Thea while I'm talking. Yeah, everyone okay with that?
Okay.
Brilliant, great. If you're not, then please just maybe write it in the chat or something so that Thea knows.
Give us a no.
Yeah, give us a no. Yeah, exactly. Okie dokie. Very good. So essentially, no pose is really just giving a boundary with your hand in front of you. Normally around the heart, the height of your heart, okay? And having the hand sort of not rigidly straight, but quite bent like that. And in order to give that no some strength and some power, we stand forward with one leg. So if you like to have your right arm out in front of you, then your right leg will be out in front of you to give you a solid base, okay? And so that your back can be upright. So you've got this kind of position here, okay? Lovely, very good, all right? And then your eyes are looking forward towards the person or the thing that you want to say no to. Okay, so you're focusing over the top of your hands, feeling your feet on the floor. So there's this sense of feeling connected to the ground. Your pelvis feels nice and stable. Your back is straight. The front arm in front of you to create this barrier where you're saying no. And then the other hand, the back hand, is on your hip, okay? Making a sort of a fist, okay? So that this is like if someone were to cross that boundary, that you might wanna hit them and actually kind of reinforce your no. It's a metaphorical thing, it's not a literal thing, okay? So you're just allow yourself to stay in this no pose position for a little bit and notice how it feels in your body. So there are a few areas that you might want to be aware of. So you might notice that your arm really locks straight, like you've got this quite like over emphatic no. Okay, so rather than saying a strong no, you might go no, like that. Okay, right. Or you might want to lean forward as well a little bit for that as well. So just if you notice those things, soften the arm, keep your back straight, don't let it lean forward. But also the other way around where your arm is a little bit bent or you're leaning back, okay? So there's this kind of weaker no, right, where you don't feel very confident, okay? So just noticing some of those things. The other area is where your hand is in front of your body. Try and keep it in front of your body. Don't let it drop. Don't let it go to one side or the other or go up. Keep it in front of you so that it feels like a shield, okay? And then just as a test for you, say no a few times. So think of a challenge that you want to say no to. Think of something where it would be really helpful for you to be able to say no, that would help you to feel more calm or less overwhelmed. And say no a few times out loud, or say it in your head, and just notice the quality of your no as you're saying it, just to give you a sense of what that feels like. So saying no, no, no. And if you want to change your arms because you're feeling a bit tired, then by all means do that. Don't feel like it should be a strain. Allow me
A couple of suggestions for people. Like there's been a bit of sideways on, which I think has been corrected now. So try and keep it face on.
Mm-hmm.
Notice how your hands are. So you don't want them hard, but you also too spread and you're softening the no, and hooked is something different happening. So explore that for yourself, how your hands are. And if you can bring a bit more no into your hands, and also your arm, like David said, you don't want it too straight and stressed,
yeah,
but too folded, and it gives the impression of a collapse. And again, that might not be what you're feeling inside. So go with what your own wisdom is telling you, but explore it a little bit.
yeah. So I'm noticing a little bit maybe with Alison, she just explore maybe Alison extending your right arm to give you that sense of, you don't want to overdo it, but you know, can you make it a bit straighter and therefore maybe a bit stronger? But again, your experience might be that it doesn't feel that way. So there's that no. Lovely. So if we relax for a minute, okay, and maybe just take a moment to kind of come back to ourselves in standing, and notice how that feels in our body. And maybe just as a guideline for yourself, maybe make a mental note of a number between 1 and 10. 1 is like a really weak no, 10 is a really strong no. Where, if you're happy to write it in the chat, what number on that scale would you say that you felt your no was at? Just as just a quick intuitive. Okay, so we've got a 5. Just giving you a reference point. 8, 9. Yeah, 7. Just an intuitive thing. Yeah, 6, 7, 8. Very good. Okay, wonderful.
Just to let you all know that after we talked about a few adjustments, even on the screen, the quality of the no was much stronger from all of you. It felt like I had a lot more conviction in it.
Lovely. Thank you, Thea. So let's just spend a few minutes breaking it down a little bit and looking at some of the details, because I find this really, really helpful. Sometimes when I'm coaching people and they are struggling with their stability and feeling really grounded and strong and solid and connected to the ground. So it is to relax the abdominal area. So if you want to step forward with one leg or the other, whichever one you would perhaps favor, okay, but ultimately it doesn't matter. So we're just working on your foundation for this no. So there are a few things. One is to have the weight forward over that front leg so that it feels like there's this real sense of there's forward feeling, okay? But also to relax the feet so that the soles of your feet can mold to the ground and your toes can sort of splay a little bit and relax a little bit so that there's more contact with the floor. So it helps to really ground you. Feel free to swap your legs whenever you want if your legs get tired. And then the other thing that you can do to help to really give that foundation some more solidness is to relax your belly and to try and relax it as deeply as you can into your pelvis. so that you might feel that the sensation is that the weight is dropping down into the floor, and you might notice that that begins to feel really quite stable and quite solid and quite grounded. Don't worry about your arms at this stage, just let yourself relax so that we can break it down a little bit. Yeah. So just working on that. So there's that, the feet, the weight over the front leg more than on the back leg, but then also relaxing the belly and the pelvis so that you feel more grounded to the floor. Okay, so that's the first area to kind of play around with if you want to do that. And then another area to work with is the focus. So you're focusing on, maybe it's a particular person that you want to say no to, or it's a particular, like a request, or it's saying no to cream cakes if you want to improve your diet, whatever it is. That there's this idea of, so you can relax your legs now, but there's this idea of focusing on this object, or focusing on this thing that you want to pay attention to. And we've talked about this before in other sessions, but this idea of breathing to that particular point. So if you imagine fixing your eyes on a point on the wall in front of you, and with your breath, breathe to it, as if it was like a little feather, and you were going to breathe on it, and your breath would touch the feather and you'd see the feather move. You don't have to force it, but it allows you to focus your mind, focus your eyes. And again, if you're soft with your belly and your pelvis, then that will make it easier to do the breath as well. So that's another thing that you can work on. Thea spent quite a lot of time talking about the hand, so I'm not going to do that. The final thing that I want us to focus on is this hand on the rib. Yeah. So if you take a moment to relax your arms and to bring your feet to about shoulder width apart. We're just going to take a moment to connect in with our sovereign. Aligning our feet and our hips, and having the shoulders over the hips and the head balanced on the top of the spine. Relaxing the muscles at the front of the face and the throat and the chest and the belly. Feeling the weight dropping down into the floor, and feeling the floor push us back up so that we have this feeling of height and dignity through our spine. Maybe imagining a crown on our head and a cloak behind us that drops down to the floor, so that we're feeling, we have an embodied sense of our sovereignty and all the things that are important to us and that we want to be a stand for. And then from there, I invite you to bring that one hand back to your hip. And just to imagine that that hand is going to be protecting you if somebody steps through your boundary. So there's this real sense of, I'm defending my sovereignty. I'm protecting my sovereignty. So now from here, if you bring your one leg forward so that you can settle into your no pose stance, relaxing the feet, relaxing the belly and the pelvis, focusing the eyes on the wall in front of you, breathing to that point if you want to do that. Your hand is already, your fist is already on that hip, And then bringing the hand out in front of you, in front of your heart, to create that strong no. And now in your own time, say some no's out loud and notice if there's any change in the quality of your voice, a change in the quality of the feeling in your body. I'm feeling much more energized, much more focused. My hands and my toes are tingling. There's a real sense of a full-bodied no. And then as you're stood here, if you wanted to, you could think of something very particular, like a challenge that you have right now that you would like to say no to. Or maybe it's just simply your sovereignty, yeah, and saying no to people threatening or attacking your sovereignty. Choose whatever it is that feels right for you. And then from here, from this full-bodied no, I invite you to step up and let your arms drop. So your palms are open and your chest opens, maybe bringing the weight back onto your back leg a little bit. And then allow yourself to say yes. Opening the jaw, allowing the face to relax. Again, the belly to stay relaxed. So what does that full-bodied no allow you to say yes to? What's possible here with this yes? So I'm really feeling this sense of, with that strong no, I can really relax into my sovereignty and I can be who I really want to be and not have to worry about hiding parts of myself for the benefit of pleasing other people. But that's just my personal thing. So just allowing yourself to feel that openness. If you wanted to, you could walk around your space a little bit to just enjoy the feeling of being really open and saying yes to the space around you. And then taking a moment to come to stillness. Maybe shaking off your hands and your legs. And then come back to the screen when you are ready.
That was beautiful watching you all. Thank you, Joanna. Sorry, I sent a message to Joanna because she has a background on. She was coming in and out and flickering quite a lot. So she's turned her camera off.
Okay.
Appreciate that, Joanna. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, dear. So I've overrun a little bit, so that took a little bit more time. But yeah, would anyone like to either write in the chat or to unmute themselves and just share a little bit about their experience of that full-bodied no and their full-bodied yes? Yeah, please, Annabelle.
Well, I felt a right big shift from the moment you said, put the attention on the feet and relaxing the toes. Because before all that, I felt a lot of tiredness in my arms. And in a sense, yes, there was a no, but it was a very tiring no for me in my arms. And in the moment I could just put attention on the lower part of my body. And also I realized that I had a tendency to put tension in my back leg and back foot also. So when I could like change that, it was much easier. the whole no.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was really an insight for me, because I didn't realize that before. I've done the no pose, but I didn't know that was so tiring, or so in a way stiff. It was stiff in my legs and everything. So, and that's why it was tiring, because I was in a way holding my no.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so this was really, I'm very grateful for these instructions, because it was a big change for me. And then the yes, yeah, changing towards yes. It gave more space. It gave me more space. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, what I've really noticed is when the warrior really protects and defends, it gives the lover archetype the permission to relax and soften. If the warrior doesn't do that, then often, well, this is my experience, and when I've done this with people in coaching, is the lover feels more contracted and restricted, and it's like the lover's trying to protect itself, and that's not how it's meant to be. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Great. We've got time for one more. Did anyone notice? Yeah, please, Alison.
I found it wonderful, and I related very much to what Annabelle was just saying about the space opening up. So for me, I was saying no to something within myself that's been quite deep and negative and difficult. And so I found I was able to open up through this lovely practice to some inner joy coming through the sovereign, through the lover. It's sort of like opening the way for some healing to take place, and for some fire, actually, some fire. Thank you. It was very good. And thanks for the help with the actual extending of the arm too. That was really good, Thea. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, brilliant.
Good.
Yeah.
And what you both said, and particularly Annabelle, what you said, it reminded me of a conversation David and I had about sales recently, because I have a really good friend who does very conscious sales training, and she always says, when you're selling, a yes is a great answer, a no is a great answer. The only really bad answer is a maybe, because there's this space you don't know whether to give more energy, whether to not. Are they going to? Are they not? That's where all the energy goes, where a clear yes and a clear no creates this space. The yes for inhabiting whatever it is you're saying yes to, and going, I'm all in right now, right here, so I can start creating it from this moment. And the no, so that you can say, okay, I know that's not for me, so I can leave that space for somebody else. Whereas in the in-between space, neither has room. And that makes me feel what you said, Alison, like if you've got an internal thing going on and you can just say no to it for a bit, it gives a lot of room for something else to come in.
Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Thea. And I forgot, could people, or would people be willing to just write in the chat what their number was for their no the second time round? Just as a comparison. Okay. Great, yeah, so it looks like we were going up the dial, not down the dial. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, great. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, great. Looks like it was helpful, which is really wonderful. So I know we're really short of time, but I just wanted to share, because this is the last session before we start our Sovereign Leadership course. So if you found what we've done useful today, then Thea and I are going to be running a 4-week course. So it's 2 hours a week on a Tuesday for 4 weeks. where we're going to be going into much more detail about embodying the archetypes as sovereignty, and how to use embodying the archetypes and how to embody our sovereign leadership so that we can create from that place and create much more the kind of life that we would like to create for ourselves. So so the links in the chat. So if you're interested and you want to know more about that, then please click on that link and all the information is there. And if you want to know more, then please reach out to either myself or Thea, and we'd be delighted to speak with you or to give you any other information that you would like. So anything that you'd like to say, Thea? Just conscious of time for everybody.
No, I just warmly invite you to join us if you get a yes to it. If you get a no to it, that's clear and true for you, then that's also great. But we'd love the opportunity to work more deeply with people. And so I really hope some of you will feel a yes and join us. Very
good. Great. Thank you. So thank you to Thea, and thank you to everybody for coming on the call today. I've really enjoyed it. So we'll finish the call in our usual way by asking you to unmute and to say goodbye in whatever way you would like to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody.
When will the next time be then?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Oh, there will be next Friday.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
okay.
can't. We don't want to stop. We don't want to stop. Right. So
take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you again.
bye.
Bye.